The last thing is culture. Science can provide a culture which is far healthier than the culture that's been provided by theology, because it is based on reality. And in fact, involves morals which are laudable, unlike the morals of all the world's religions, which are despicable. If you read the Gospels,
we know that the belief systems of all the world's traditional religions and cultures, their theories of the origins of life, humans, and societies, are factually mistaken. We know, but our ancestors did not, that humans belong to a single species of African primate that developed agriculture, government, and writing late in its history. We know that our species is a tiny twig of a genealogical tree that embraces all living things and that emerged from prebiotic chemicals almost 4 billion years ago.
So all you have to do, change is always one generation away. And we have the children, and exactly. So if we can plant the seeds of doubt in our children, religion will go away in a generation, or at least largely go away. And that's what I think we have an obligation to do.
We're left with the realization, of course, that intelligent design, while real in the history of science, while real in the presence of sort of philosophical drivers, is nonetheless a philosophy of ignorance. And so, regardless of what our political agenda is, all you have to say is, science is a philosophy of discovery, intelligent design is a philosophy of ignorance. That's all.
But you know, even more astonishing is that you can get physics, you can get matter, you can get everything from nothing.
They are, because it seems like you should violate some law that, and out of, you know, as classical philosophers said, out of nothing comes nothing. But that's, the interesting thing is that's based on common sense. But as you pointed out, the world doesn't care about our common sense. And then we've learned that the nothing of the classical Greeks and of the Bible, an eternal empty void, is certainly not nothing, because empty space is a boiling, bubbling brew of virtual particles. And in fact, we discovered that nothing can weigh something. That's what, in essence, the Nobel Prize that was given to Brian and his collaborators were here for. Nothing actually weighs something. So the whole idea, there's not much difference between nothing and something. And for some...
Then we saw the sun, and we said, well, the sun is a special thing in the sky. Nothing else looks like it. We find it's just one of all 100 billion other stars in the galaxy. Oh, galaxy's special. No, we're just one of 50, 100 billion galaxies. Well, the universe is special. Well, maybe not. Maybe our universe is one of many. And so there's good historical precedent for the universe having more than one of anything and everything. In other words, the universe, as far as we know, has never made one of anything. So why would there even be one of itself?
The reason we love science is because it's ever evolving, morphing into more and more discoveries of the world around us. I am thankful that these advances include vaccines.
I believe in vaccinations.
And I believe in vaccinations.
If you don't vaccinate your kids, it can endanger their lives.
The potential downsides of vaccinations are almost non-existent.
The cumulative scientific and medical communities are in absolute full agreement
that there is basically no reason not to vaccinate your kids.
No reason.
Absolutely. In fact, climate change is directly related to the growth of terrorism. And if we do not get our act together and listen to what the scientists say, you're going to see countries...
And today is an exciting day because we have a guy with us who has done more, I think, than anybody else in our country to popularize science and stuff like that.
Well, that's it. So there are people who make a very strong argument to me. These are climate scientists that a lot of the unrest in the Middle East is displaced young men who don't want to work the family farm anymore because the family farm isn't doing as well as it used to because rainfall patterns have changed. They go to the big cities, they can't get jobs, they get disenfranchised, and then they get involved in essentially terrorist operations. Now this
Not only are dinosaurs still alive today, that you could easily make an argument that they're more diverse than they ever have been. I mean, living birds are dinosaurs. I mean, just like human beings are a kind of primate, birds are a kind of dinosaur.
Birds, based on the evidence we have, both in fossils and in comparison with living birds, they probably branched off a group of kind of carnivorous dinosaurs we call the theropods, things that are closely related to animals like Tyrannosaurus or Oviraptor, the famous beaked dinosaur, and some of these other meat-eating dinosaurs.
Frankly, I have been pushing NASA to revamp its vision. The shuttle did some extraordinary work in low orbit experiments, this International Space Station, moving cargo. But now what we need is that next technological breakthrough. We're still using the same models for space travel that we used with the Apollo program 30, 40 years ago.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Mock them, ridicule them in public. Don't fall for the convention that we're all too polite.
Scientism is simply religious beliefs clothed in scientific terms.
They have a belief system that they are starting with, and they're doing everything they can to force science into agreement with that belief system.
If the erosion rates were true, going back millions of years, these tracks should be disappeared millions of years ago, but they're not.
So why not put these in the museums? Because they vindicate the Bible.
Don't tell me my theory is religious and yours is science. Oh no, sir, they're both religious. Evolution is a religion. So you have to believe.
Mainstream media, when it begins to push a scientific agenda, it consistently is leading people 180 degrees away from Scripture and a personal relationship with our Creator.
Science is a philosophy of discovery. Intelligent design is a philosophy of ignorance. That's all.
And so this is the next step of what we see as the strong delusion.
We despise him. You're being indoctrinated. You have to answer the questions a certain way or you're going to get an F.
Do you get your cosmology from the Bible and what you can observe, or do you get it from these people who admit it is a religion, it is a belief system, it is esoteric philosophy?
The world is going to gather together to make war with God.
It's scientism versus God. That's what's going on.
You and I are descendants of Martians.
Okay, and that's not crazy. And that's not crazy?
If we are faced with a common enemy in outer space, it would indeed help to unite the Earth.
If a non-rotating flat Earth does not exist, why would you even use the phrase? Why would you even say that?